Evening all, just a quick update from day 11. I've had my catch up with my coach and we've been through a few things today, which was quite beneficial. So it's all about getting ready for the next step now. So we've got another 10 weeks to go of this, but it's talking about habits and starting to work out where my perhaps food weaknesses are or have been, and what I'm going to do going forward post these 12 weeks. So I've got a bit of a strategy in mind. I mean, as you know, as I've said, I've been working IT and I fairly sedentary, but I'm also a bit lazy, especially when it comes to food prep. So that's going to be one thing that I'm going to have to change. So, but I have had a bit of good news today. So on the day that you have your catch-up call with your coach, you're supposed to submit your weight, your blood pressure, and your blood glucose even, if I can speak. And mine is now down to 5.6, which for me, it hasn't even been that low since I was on metformin. So I'm really, really pleased with the results, and long may it continue. I'm still having problems with the toilet, so it's been a few days now, and I've been advised to take as much fibre as my dosage allows. So that's two scoops twice a day, which I'm doing, and make sure I'm drinking enough water. But ultimately, I've been recommended, if it's not sorted itself out soon, perhaps pop to my local pharmacist and tell them I'm on this restrictive diet and that I'm diabetic, and if there's anything they can prescribe for me, that will help. So that's where we are with that. So hopefully that will sort itself out soon. If not, it's going to be a trip to the Asda pharmacy again. Well, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll catch you all on the next video. I've been sat here for the last 5-10 minutes working out what I wanted to say for this video. I was going to say how I think for the first time since I've started this diet, I haven't felt particularly hungry. And then my dog came downstairs and started eating his food really, really quickly and really, really noisily, and I've started feeling really hungry again. So, I mean, it's day 12 now, and I was hoping these hunger pangs would have gone. Certainly the chewing gum is definitely helping. It's not getting me there, and I'm drinking a lot more water now, doing at least 2 litres of water a day, in addition to the water with the shakes and the water with the fibre, which has done its job, all I'll say on that. It's getting easier. I don't feel overly hungry. I don't have that aching sensation. I just have a dull pain in my tummy now, every now and then when I think of food, but it's not enough for me to break concentration on. It's not overly concerning me, and I'm hoping it's something that I will, as time goes by, gradually begin to cope with more and more. The plan is, so from speaking to the coach yesterday, we talked about trying to enter a state called ketosis. And basically, ketosis is where your body stops burning glucose for fuel and starts burning fat because you have no glucose left in your system. And that is based around fasting. So it's something I recommend for diabetics anyway. But you might have heard of it along the 8-16 fasting regime, where you eat for a window of 8 hours and you fast for the remaining 16. I mean, you can still drink water and do everything else, you just can't eat, or in my case, shakes. So I've decided, rather than this being a challenge, I've decided to challenge myself and try and enter ketosis by basically only having shakes between the hours of 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. And we never know, that might put me in a good stead for after the diet when I'm trying to reintroduce food. Perhaps it will mean I will have like a brunch or a lunch and a dinner, and maybe something very light for breakfast if I need it. But if I'm surviving on 800 calories and 4 shakes at the moment, then in theory, after the 12 weeks, I should be able to survive on a similar sort of food regime. I appreciate 800 calories a day for someone my size isn't sustainable for the very long term, and I know they say that if you do these shakes for more than 12 weeks, you do put yourself at some risk of complications, and clearly I don't want to take it that far. But in hindsight, I'm happy with the weight loss. I've stopped weighing myself every day because I think I've reached the point where the weight loss will plateau, and I'll be going from, rather than losing a couple of kilos or a few kilos a week, to perhaps 1 or 2. So I mean, I'm a healthy, I think it's be about 11 kilos now I've lost. So at the end of week 2, so in a couple of days time, I'll share the scorecard with you and be able to see how I'm doing. And yeah, I think I'm pleased with my progress so far. I've got a goal of 30 kilos to aim for in these 12 weeks, which I know is a stretch, and I know is going to be difficult, but I'm doing my bit. I'm walking as much as I can during the day. I mean, I'm working from home today, so I've been out for a walk today. I've done some light exercise at home with Beat Saber. Or you could just, if you want to do something similar, you could just do hand weights or something like that, and just do some dancing in your room while watching music on the TV or whatever. It's all adds up, and it's all calories that I'm burning. I'm just waiting for that point where I go, right, you know what, Chris, you are starting to burn fat now. My wife has noticed some weight loss on my upper chest, or my top belly, as I call it. And I'm just waiting for when my lower belly or bay window starts to disappear. I appreciate I've got a long way to go before I'll notice anything significant, but I think I'll get there. It's coming up to the end of week 2, 2 more days to go till the end of week 2, and then another 10 weeks after that. And I think my biggest fear is I start getting really bored of the shakes. I mean, they're not too bad. They are palatable, but I'm missing texture. I'm missing having like something different in my mouth to chew on, or to actually chew on anything, unless it's some of the fibre paste that hasn't quite dissolved in your drink. And just different tastes and experiences. So I think I'm going to have to get some mint and start putting that in my drink. And, you know, maybe I'm not a coffee drinker, but maybe drink some black coffee or black tea, just to give me a different flavour for a change. But yeah, as I said, I think I'm doing well. I've not had any headaches for a few days now, and I've become aware of that as well today. So anyone who's watching the video, just be aware that the headaches don't last forever. The confusion does, as you can tell. I'm still not running at 100% capacity, but it's certainly a lot better than I was last week. It was so bad last week. I didn't say at the time, but I was at a petrol station and I put the wrong fuel in my car. I was about to put the clicker. It's like, oh my God, Chris, what are you doing? You just gone on autopilot and not paying attention to what you're doing. So thank goodness for that. Otherwise, that would have been an expensive mistake. And I've stumbled, I've spilt things, and it's taken a few days for my brain to adjust to the lower energy levels, but I think I'm there, or mostly there anyway. And yeah, I think I'll leave it at that, and I'll give you another update tomorrow. Hi everyone, here is the day 13 and 14 update. Apologies for not doing a dedicated day 13 update. Yesterday I started feeling quite unwell, totally unrelated to the diet. I just felt run down. I had a runny nose, I was coughing a bit, I was just exhausted, so I had an early night. There's nothing wrong with that. So where am I? Day 14. I am tired, not as tired as I was, but I still feel the need to go to bed early. Hopefully that will start getting better soon. The hunger, while it hasn't gone completely, I still have like a general ache throughout the day. I am doing my best to compensate for that with chewing gum. I would definitely recommend that you take the fibre supplement, so twice a day. that has certainly helped me, and it certainly helped fill my tummy up as well for a little bit. But chewing gum has been the main thing, and obviously drinking plenty of fluid. So I'm trying to drink minimum of 2 litres of water, and I'm going to be back on the Pepsi Max, I think, from the weekend, just to try and put something in my tummy, just to make me feel like I've got something in there. Now, what I'm finding interesting is the dynamics around food, particularly other people eating food or preparing food for other people. I'm not as... It's strange. I thought I would be tempted, like if somebody's eating something, I thought I'd be tempted to sort of like nip in and grab a bit. But I don't have that temptation at the moment. Now, it's early days, we're only 14 days in, so perhaps that temptation will increase over time. But at the moment it's fine, and the same goes for preparing food. I've done a couple of things for my wife, and no issues at all with that. And I've got a dog as well, and don't get me wrong, I've got no temptation to eat the dog food. It does smell quite nice. Some of it smells like roast chicken, which is obviously a bit of a trigger. But yeah, I mean, with regards to food temptations, I've not been tempted to go into the fridge and raid it, or even pour myself a glass of milk or anything like that. So I'm proud of how I'm coping. However, and this is a big thing, I feel hangry at times. So a little bit hungry and a little bit angry because I'm hungry. Not all the time. It's not a food temptation thing. It's an empty tummy thing. And yeah, I've just got to be mindful of that. I've snapped at a couple of people, and they don't deserve that, and I've apologised straight after. But it's something I've got to work on. So, as I said, perhaps from this weekend I'll start drinking some Pepsi Max, just to perhaps put a bloated feeling in my tummy, just so that it feels like I've got something in there. Tummy gurgling is a constant thing. I imagine that will settle down with time as well. Right, weight loss. So at the end of week 2, I'll be weighing myself tomorrow, so I'll give you an update. But I don't think the weight loss this week has been as dramatic as last week. So last week was, I think, 9 kilos in total. So if I've done 3 kilos, 4 kilos perhaps, I'll be incredibly happy with that. And again with the blood sugar. So I took my blood sugar a few days ago on the meeting with my coach, and on that day it was at 5.8. So from back when I started, I think it was high 8s, low 9s. That is a considerable drop in 2 weeks, and obviously I'm proud of that as well. It's eye-opening how quickly this diet has affected me. I'm going to a wedding in a couple of weeks' time, and I've been thinking, have the clothes that I've put aside to wear for the wedding, are they going to fit anymore? Or am I going to have clothes that I perhaps put aside because I didn't fit into them at the time? Will they start trying them on? So I think I've got that to look forward to in the coming days. So let's summarise. This week was, I would say, perhaps a little bit harder than the first week, but for different reasons. I managed to overcome the initial hunger pains and headaches of the first week, but the tiredness has still carried on. I've done a little bit of exercise. I've been taking the dog out for a walk. I've been doing some beat sabering at home. I've done some light hand weights and things like that, but I still don't have the energy to dedicate myself to go out, say, for a swim, which is something what I really want to do. It's something I hope improves over the next week, because I've got a couple of things on. I'm going away with work. I'm going abroad for a couple of nights, so that's going to be an interesting challenge. How am I going to cope when I'm away with drinking shakes when people around me are going to be eating meals? And yeah, I don't know what the social etiquette for that is when you go out for a team meeting and not eating, but I will do my best, and I'll see how I get on next week. But I just want to encourage anyone who is thinking about doing this diet or has it coming up in the future. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. I mean, I am a big guy. I started this at north of 160 kilos. So food was a very important part of my life. When I travelled, I used to get some fast food or get something from a service station on the motorway. If I stayed over at a hotel, I'd have a nice dinner and then I'd have a nice breakfast as well. Obviously, full English breakfast, so all the bacon, sausage, beans, stuff like that. And I don't feel the need to do that at the moment. I imagine that'll perhaps change in a few weeks' time as I start getting closer to the end, but at the moment, I feel fine. It's just not the temptation to eat that's causing me issues at the moment. It's the fact that I have a constant emptiness in my tummy, and it's making me feel hungry when I draw attention to it. And as I said, I've been tired and I've been a bit ratty with a couple of people, so that's something to be mindful. Perhaps just make sure that if you are doing this, you tell your friends and your loved ones close by that you might be a bit of a miserable person and you might be a bit obnoxious, but obviously that will pass. I hope it will pass anyway. Chewing gum is your friend. Make sure you chew gum. It will basically keep your mouth moving. It will give you a different flavour sensation in your mouth, and it just takes your mind off of it. So, but as I said, the most important thing is 2 weeks in, not touched any food at all, not interested in touching any food at all, and if I can do it, you can do too. I think from next week I'm going to drop down to perhaps 1 or 2 videos a week. I appreciate the daily updates might be a bit tedious, so I'll perhaps do like a beginning of the week and an end of the week summary, just to make the things, like, I'd rather do like a 10-minute video rather than 5 or 7 2-minute videos and stitch them all together, but we'll see how we go. Okay, well, I appreciate the support people around me have given, and yeah, it means a lot. I know there were people who had doubts, myself included, that I would be able to stick with it, and I'm glad I have. It's not easy. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's not impossible. So if you find yourself in a situation where you have the opportunity to do this diet and hopefully get yourself back into diabetes remission, then I strongly advise you to consider doing it. I'll leave it like that, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.